late today, but today was council's opportunity to listen to the audited reports that we had earlier today. So that's why we're a little late starting up at 4:30. But call the meeting to order at 4:30 p.m. and I remind everybody to shut off their mobile devices and put them on the silent mode. Thank you very much. I do have a motion here that members requested additions and deletions to the agenda for the Monday, May 9th meeting. Is there any? Hearing none, I need a mover or seconder. Councillor Bell, second by Julia. All in favor? Great. Thank you. Any declarations of interest today? Hearing none. I have a motion here that council hereby adopts the minutes of the meeting that were held, the regular meeting and the closed meeting of council held on May 26th as circulated amended. Moved by Councillor Lake, second by Councillor Balance. Any questions, errors, or omissions of those minutes? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. No delegations, no unfinished business. Council reports. I got a verbal one coming up later on. And student council reports. Councillor Anthony, please.
Alrighty, so good afternoon, everyone. As we approach the final 2 weeks of the school year at Marathon High School, here is also a sense of excitement and anticipation in the air. The last few days will be busy with events and celebrations as we wrap up another successful academic year. While there's no recent sports updates for Marathon High School reported this time, I would like to take a moment to extend my congratulations to my VC classmates in Terrace Bay for their outstanding track season. Their hard work, dedication paid off in a big way, especially within their incredible achievements at Mwasa, beating the record in boys shot put. No small feat. I think it deserves some recognition from everybody. Turning to upcoming events in Marathon High School, I want to highlight an important opportunity for students. Tomorrow during lunch, 11:25 a.m., the high school will be hosting an information session in the library about our mining specialist high school major SHISM program. This session will provide a valuable insight into how students can begin a successful future in the mining industry while playing a vital role in the economy of Marathon and the surrounding region. From hands-on training to co-op placements and industry certifications, SHISM program is an excellent first step toward a rewarding and in-demand career in the region. On Wednesday evening from 7 to 9 p.m., the school gym will be host to our annual sports banquet. This event is our chance to come together as a school community to celebrate the achievements and spirit of our student athletes and their coaches. From our early morning travel games to late night practices, the season has demonstrated resilience, leadership, and camaraderie that define our Marathon High School sports teams. I am especially looking forward to hearing from our MC, our former principal, Mr. Wilson. Side note, after the ceremony, there will be refreshments and cake for everyone to enjoy. Lastly, as this marks our final meeting as student counselors, I'd like to sincerely thank the town of Marathon for this opportunity. It has been an honor to serve in this role and contribute to our school and community. I leave with pride in what we have accomplished and great hope for the future of youth involvement in local governance. The momentum from this year, especially post-NOMA, has led to communities like Greenstone taking the steps forward to include their youth in the decision makings at council. I leave proud that Marathon continues to lead by example and set future or greater precedents every year.
Great, thank you very much, Councillor Matos.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the busiest time of the month as the school year is coming to a close. First, there's a grad meeting with parents and students tomorrow at 3:30 in the library. This will be our final meeting before graduation. Second, we have our amazing powwow this Friday from 11 to 2. So please come and show your support as we celebrate Indigenous culture, music, and community. Thirdly, our grade 9s are doing their EQAO math assessment next week. And at the end of the week, we start our exams. So the first exam starts on Thursday, June 19th and go till Tuesday, June 24th, with an excused makeup day on Wednesday, June 25th. Make sure to check in with your teachers to know if you have an exam, and if so, make sure you arrive on time for your 9 o'clock start time. With that date, June 25th in mind, it's our graduation day. Councillor Anthony and I will both be graduating along with others on the special day. I'll be attending Lakehead in the program of Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and Councillor Anthony will be attending Guelph doing Government Economics Management. So please congratulate our grads when you see them for their tough dedication and their incredible milestone. On another note, today is my last day as a student counselor for the town of Marathon. I just want to say a huge thank you to the town for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this incredible counselor experience. At the beginning, I honestly didn't think I'd be here right now, but looking back, I'm so grateful I was. It's been amazing, and I've learned so much along the way. As I head off to pursue nursing and hopefully becoming a doctor, I look forward to coming back one day and giving back to this community that has given me so much. So thank you again for everything.
Awesome, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And on behalf of council and obviously the time that we spent last year, I mean, we've had this program since 2011, and I really think that you guys are really the amazing two. We've had some great councils over the years as well, but you guys have really represented the municipality greatly. Specifically at Noma, that was amazing. And you know, a lot, not just Greenstone, as you mentioned, Councilor Anthony, but all the municipalities that I've reached out and talked to, they really respect the program we have, and they're all trying to get it going. But it's very hard and difficult to make the commitment. And we used to make a comment about the fact that you didn't think you'd be here by the end of the year, but at the end of the day, you've seen the importance of governance and the impact you had when you talked about it at Noma. The impact that you've seen how the government works and how governance works and understanding the processes behind the scenes was really amazing. So for both of you, thank you very much for your time and your commitment. And hopefully you will go on and be something successful in your life, whether it's a doc or a politician. Seem to have it over here. But on behalf of myself and council and administration, we really appreciate the time you guys committed to us and the effort you put in and the great leadership you've shown for your youth group, and I'm sure the peers that you deal with every day. Thank you very much. And on behalf, thank you. Maybe we'll do it down the phone and give a little quick picture. And if you don't mind, want to come to the front, guys? All of us? Can you go to the wherever's a good angle. All right, everybody.
Should be in the middle of the student
Yeah,
council.
come on, everybody. Slide right over there. Harrison, and just a little token of our appreciation for the effort and work they put in. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you very much. Carson, thanks, buddy.
Yes, that's the one that.
Congratulations, Carson.
It's one of those things that's like, don't look back, but yes, please come back.
And your worship, they're probably too shy to say anything about it, but both Madison and Carson were up in Thunder Bay receiving Thunder Bay Foundation Awards this year for, which are the big awards for the region. So
I
congratulations.
said it in the last council, man.
If you were
I
up there,
didn't want to get too.
it's gonna be in the paper.
Well, I think-
That's okay. All good. You guys really,
Make sure you do. That's one thing moving on the line.
you guys really, true leaders within the municipality, specifically in your peer group. And I think that shows reflection of that, and hopefully the interest comes forward with the assistance of Council Lake, because it's a really beneficial for us for the work that goes into the student council program. But with having Council Lake at the school makes a big difference for us to have the opportunity to invite the future counselors. So share the words with your peers, and by all means, thank you again once on behalf of us. Okay, administration reports. Report on the priorities eligible for tax restoration. Mr. Birdwell.
According to the tax collection policy, a list of all properties eligible for tax registration must be presented to council. This list is to be all-inclusive. Section 373 of the Municipal Act enables the treasurer to register a tax arrear certificate against the title to lands that have 2 years of tax arrears. With the attached schedules detail the properties that have taxes outstanding from 2023 or earlier. Cost of registering property is approximately $2,000 per property. All costs associated with tax registrations are fully recoverable, but only if the properties can be sold. In 2024, there are 22 properties, including 7 Marathon Pulp properties that were eligible for registration, totaling $80,600 in outstanding taxes, which excludes Marathon Pulp properties. This year, there are 28 properties, including Marathon Pulp properties, plus 11 gravel pits, which are owned by the Ministry of Natural Resources and leased to third parties. Excluding these Marathon Pulp properties and M&R properties, exposure is $86,300. 10 properties are new to the list. In 2024, there also were 10 first-time residents added. 2024, there were 7 properties in tax registration totaling $113,000. This year, there are only 4 properties with exposure of $15,000. due to the failed tax sale of the two properties known as Station 14. Administration is presenting this report for council's information only.
Great. Anybody have any questions, Mr. Verbal, on that? It's an annual report, and it doesn't seem like we're in really bad shape in regards to the overall exposure, so that's a good thing. Hopefully we'll continue to move in that direction. Councilor,
Maybe just again, if folks are struggling with tax payments, they can reach out and make plans.
Yes, everyone that will be going into tax registration have been given multiple notices.
yeah, we are definitely not in the business of taking anybody's home properties, businesses. We want to make sure everybody has the ability to come in and make those arrangements, and that the door is open. So by all means, come in and make those arrangements through your tax processes. Thank you. There's no motion on that, just for information. Up next, we have a report on the 25 emergency management plan. Ms. Kuchel, please. Good evening.
Okay, so the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act, EMCPA, and its supporting regulation 38004 provides a number of requirements for both ministries and municipalities. Each year, the Community Emergency Management Coordinator, along with the Emergency Management Program Committee, are required to review the plan, critical infrastructure, complete a hazard risk assessment review, and facilitate a tabletop exercise with the Emergency Control Group. Our annual review of the emergency plan, HIRA, critical infrastructure, and was completed virtually, and our tabletop exercise took place on May 6, 2025. The emergency plan must be approved annually by council via bylaw, and the bylaw must encompass the emergency management program as well as the emergency plan. Any costs associated with the administration of the town's emergency plan has been provided for in the annual operating budget, and no direct costs have been incurred with these changes. So our options are A, approve bylaw 2106, thereby repealing bylaw 2084, or B, request that administration make changes to bylaw number 2106. Your administration recommends that option A be selected and that council approve the emergency plan as presented and that the appropriate bylaw be adopted.
Great, thanks for that report. I have a motion that council hereby accepts the attached report of Raven Marathon 2025 Emergency Management Plan. And further that a bylaw 2106 be thereby repealing bylaw number 20084 be approved later this meeting. Moved by Councilor Winter, second by Councilor Gillens. Any questions of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
The same question I asked at the tabletop meeting. It's a great experience, and I thought the town is in good situation. My question is more about the integration with other facilities in their emergency plans, because we don't know if they overlap. And I know we did a trial event where everyone was involved, but I still am having a hard time seeing where those come together, like the hospitals, the schools, I think it's important that they overlap and that we're not doubling things that need to be done. I'm really aware of it because of the forest fires right now. Each organization have a plan, but I think it's really important that those be integrated and we have it in writing what those are. That's a comment, and I don't have a solution at this point, but I do think it's really important. You hear about all these evacuations going. How does that come together with the long-term care, people who are in homes? How do we manage that with the other organizations that have emergency plans?
Do you want to respond to it? Or I can kind of handle it?
Yeah, you can.
So we did have the joint group of all those members that you mentioned, like all the different agencies for the municipality and under the act change, and then for convenience for the group to scale down to have the key people within the agency and the emergency plan preparedness group. We have all the contact information numbers of all those individuals, and all their plans are associated with if there's an emergency plan. The municipality will be the one calling of the emergency plan out. And then in the case of a situation where we have a fire, flood, storm, whatever, we will declare a state of emergency through the municipality, and then those agencies will be informed through the direct contact information we have through our plan. So what you're asking is for us to be familiar with those other plans that they have. I think that's easy enough for us to reach out and say, show us or send us your plan, but they're fully aware of the contact through to Mrs. Goodchild in regards to that, and of course, Mr. Skorczynski and myself under the act itself.
So if I could, just to follow up on your worship. So we had planned to do a live training exercise in 2026. But obviously our community emergency management coordinator is going on maternity leave. So we're going to extend that by a year. And what we're going to do next year, to Councillor Giuliano's question is, we'll start that contact process and reaching out to those other organizations within the municipality, because it is a big exercise to organize a live training exercise. So realistically, next year we'll be making those connections, information gathering, and then looking at 2027 to do the actual exercise. So the question is timing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And the other thing I was thinking of, back to COVID, where not many good things happened, but I remember that being one of the good things we had, and I don't remember what we named it, but the town, the hospital, they all sat at a central table.
The situation.
So we're not that far removed that those personal connections at least are there, right? That we can go into those.
and I think it's great, and it's the gathering the information, I think that's really essential. I mean, the trial is good to see how it works, but like, as a counselor, I'd really like to see, this is the long-term care plan, this is the hospital, and to be able to look at them even lined up in columns beside each other, whatever, and say, well, hey, why are we both doing this? Why don't you do that and we'll do this? And, just, I think having a single binder that has all those plans in it that we could consult would be really helpful.
So it's kind of, yeah, that's great for information gathering, but I think in general, but when the emergencies declared, it's the municipality, and then that will be reflective of those outside agencies that are coming back in to participate, and movement of individuals or shelter, whatever that might be, will fall under this group, the emergency management control group, and Ms. Goodchild and all of us as citizen members of that group, right? Of course, the declaration will be made by the CEO / the mayor/CIO in the worst case scenario. The COVID pandemic, we hit that, Councilor Giuliano, probably 3 or 4 different pandemic scenarios over the term that I've been on that group, and that group was the bigger group then, which would all be the people involved. And no matter what we did at the tabletop or the mock or anything, that's not the real world. The real world is things change dramatically as it hit, right? So it's good to know. We can certainly reach out and get those plans and see if we can incorporate them into our binder book. So it'll be nothing more than just being in our binder book.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah. And I think the 2027 mock event, we kind of bring that into reality.
Yeah. Good. Thank you very much for that. All in favor of this, acceptance of this? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, next we have the report on workplace harassment policy review. Good afternoon, Ms. Butcher.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The Occupational Health and Safety Act states that an employer shall prepare and review at least annually a policy with respect to workplace violence and harassment, and maintain a written program to implement the policy with respect to workplace harassment under clause 32.01. The Joint Health and Safety Committee reviewed the harassment and violence in the workplace policy at their May 22nd, 2025 meeting and noted a few amendments. Effective changes to the policy include adding an electronic reporting on eBase for complaints, changing the following: if a member of council is the person engaging in the violence, in the case of the CAO, the employee should contact the municipality's integrity commissioner. All other employees will report the matter to the CAO, who will then report it to the integrity commissioner. So your options: A, approve the changes to the above policy as presented, or B, approve additional or alternative changes. Your recommendation, your administration recommends that option A be selected and policy TMS 006 be approved as presented, and further that the policy be included in the town's policy guideline manual.
Great, thank you for that report. I have a motion on council hereby accepts the attached report on workplace harassment policy review for the policy placed in the town's policy guideline manual. Moved by Councilor Giuliano, second by Councilor Lake. Any questions? I just want to make comment in regards to the code of conduct and code of conduct behavior. Like, at least now that the government, after the couple of major incidents within council, it's put some tools in the toolbox that allows us as a council to remove a council member as well, and without having to wait for an election. So it's not fully implemented, but it will be, and it's a great tool because this is a great tool for the administration and staff to be able to discipline the individual, but we have no tools for people sitting on this side of the table. And now that does change, so because there's some pretty radical people out there that, you know, we're lucky we've always had a really cordial and great council, but you never know. One person can step into the seat, it becomes a real disaster, not just for councils, but of course the whole municipality and organization. Because not just affects us, it affects everybody on that side of the table because you don't want to deal with that individual, right? So it's a great song. Okay. Question? Yeah, sure. Councilor Jones.
So just in a general sort of way, do we get, like in 2024, were there any workplace harassment requests?
For any incidents?
Yeah.
That's
An endorsement.
That's positive, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's great. Okay, we'll call the question on favor. Carrie, thank you. Thank you for the report. And up next, we have verbal report on Canada activities. Ms. Coach, please.
So the town of Marathon is looking forward to our 2025 community celebration for Canada Day. This year, we are kicking things off on Monday, June the 30th with live music provided by our local band Whiskey Sin at Penn Lake Park. The band will begin at 8 p.m. and will transition to fireworks show at dusk. So Twisted Treats and K&R North Shore Fries will also be in attendance that evening to serve us their delicious items. On Tuesday, July 1st, we're inviting the community and surrounding communities back to Penn Lake Park for a day filled with exciting activities. The event will run from 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. with opening ceremony starting at 11:30 a.m.
So you're looking at this side of the
Yes,
table?
yeah. There will be a vendor market under the tent with various items for sale, carnival games for children, bouncy castles, tattoos, food vendors, cotton candy, and much more. Council and senior leadership will also be hosting a free barbecue, so make sure to stop by between 12 and 2. We would like to thank groups, organizations, and businesses who are supporting these festivities throughout the day and for adding to our celebration. If anyone requires more information, they want to help out or add something to the event, please reach out to us at the town office and check back to our Facebook page and website. We will be advertising posters and getting the word out later on this week.
Good. Great. Any questions? Great. Thank you for the update. Encourage everybody to get involved if they can and help out all as well. Okay, up next, we got a verbal report on highlights of the conference I just attended on behalf of the Ontario Association of Police Service Boards. As the chair of the Marathon Police Services, I'll sit on Zone 1, and from Zone 1 as the OPP representative from Northwestern Ontario, I sit on the provincial body, the Association of Police Service Boards, as a board member. Day one, we had, of course, the conference board training that was starting off. Just to give an overview of the training aspects, because there's still boards that are still confused and operating under the old system. It's just understanding of the new system put in place, which was Community Safety Act, which was April 1, 2024 was implemented. So we're a year into it, and there's still things we, even our own board, had problems getting all up on that. Then, of course, had our general meeting as a board, and for the information sharing with all the membership at that. Then we had the history of partnership and law enforcement presentation, strength of collaboration with new police victim services, working together with victim services, which we have one in our community, and a lot of victim services about the opportunity for individuals who have been victimized through a crime to have an opportunity to speak for them. And then we had a director's update on regards to our association, the advocacy work we do, and it's a lot in the advocacy within that because we represent all police forces, and there's 340 some OPP detachments throughout the province, and the rest is municipal policing under Section 31. And those are the big forces, as you know, can imagine, with thousands of police officers like the Peel region, Waterloo, the Windsor, even as small as Thunder Bay, which is still 400 or 500 employees. Police officers is quite big. Get into day two of the conference. We had a governance motion, how strategic board decisions are creating leadership in alignment with shaped operational aspects. The insurance essentials of boards, which was a new thing under the act that we all had to be insured. We had to go through that process and learn and understand what the essentials of that, what it covers, meeting with the needs and changing community, improving service deliveries through policing, which is as our community changed, when you look back and even a decade ago, police officers didn't do the things we're doing today. They did a decade ago. So it's quite amazing, and the amount of work that's going into a police officer every time they get into the car is amazing. And so the Inspector of Policing and supports the effectiveness of board's governance. A lot of this session over the 3 or 4 days was governance as well, and understanding the new act, leadership development programs of the OSAP, which is the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, and then Stronger Together, which is a presentation working together with municipal leaders, which is us, governance models, municipalities, and councils. Then there's some breakout sessions. I attended the engagement for board members and the rules of engagement. Sorry, there was also one that was looking for a new leader. Regular OPP boards don't typically get into that. We do have interview process, the detached commander, but I also attended the critical. Go back here. The critical thinking and police governance is how we assess, and then the other assessment was evaluation tools. And then there was other breakout sessions that are all, I didn't go participate in any of those that day. It was quite time sensitive in regards to each one of those were an hour and a half in the afternoon, so it took up a lot. And of course, in the evening, we went out and had a presentation and entertainment by the London Police Service. Third day, innovation and community safety, delivering community safety under the rule of law, the NAPS journey. That's the Treaty 9 and the NAPS, the Anishinaabe Policing Services. It was quite the journey of some 20 years to get where they are today and have a really governance and self-policing systems within their communities, delivering community safety. Networking breakout sessions again. This day was recruiting the right leader, which was again part of that whole thing. I didn't attend that one, and I went into the other ones, which was introduction to understanding police culture. That is amazing because even all of us in this room, we think police culture is like going to a coffee shop and having donuts. No, it's not the police.
For the record, I don't think that.
Police culture is, but a lot of people in our communities and society still think that is police culture, but it's not. And we joked a bit about it, but it's reality, right? It's not. So I attended that. That was very informative, very interesting. And what it was, it's about a brotherhood, sisterhood of policing and community that you must, stick up for the individual that you work with. A little different than working in a mining in a, sector or an education sector or in a healthcare sector, and then understanding and advancing women in policing across Canada. No different than it was in regards to political realms. Women still don't feel they're comfortable in that setting, and because there's still sexism and all that in that, because it seems like it's an old boys class from the days in the past, but the reality of the culture and that, going back to policing culture, that was part of it as well. That was very informative. I enjoyed that. That human rights, advancing policing governance and operations under the Human Rights Act. And of course, the conference closed later on today. It was a great conference. Obviously, London, Ontario is a nice city and great. So next year will be in Niagara Falls. Mayor Moffat, as our joint board now is amalgamated, Mayor Moffat representing the Manitouwadge aspect, so he attended as well. This was all new to him. Policing governance is all new because under Section 5.1 under the Policing Act, they were not a governance model. We were Section 10. We always had the governance model since we went on contract. And I was telling a story of Marathon. We were one of the first municipalities in Ontario to go under police contract with OPP, and that was in 1994. We signed a contract then, and then today. So we're 31 years into OPP police contracting. So it's quite amazing when you hear that. When they hear in general discussion, they go, "Wow, man, you guys are really way back." But it was something that saved the municipality a lot of money and a lot of grief because I was around then. And then going forward, our monies went up, and then in 2015, we were also the pushers through NOMA to bring policing costs in line, where municipalities were not paying nothing for policing, and we were paying at that time, I think, $1.5 million for policing. And then as we went forward in those 4 years, we went from 1.5 to about 750,000. Now we're just under 8 or so, around 800,000 for policing. So really good cost for the services we're providing our community. And we have a great relationship with our police detached commander and our police force. And I encourage anybody, if any one of you as a member of council, we talked a lot about that, a lot of boards as well, want to take a ride along. You can just reach out through the board, and Councillor Lake is now on the board as well as our council representative, and just go for that ride along and see how policing is done in your community. So, great conference, and learned a lot of networking and understanding about governance of policing. It's a big beast. So all good. Thank you. Any questions? Perfect. How about bylaws? Bylaw number 2105 being a bylaw to repeal bylaws number 1208 and 1560, and number 1976 being a bylaw to regulate time, manner, extent, and nature of the supply of water in and for the town of Marathon, be read a first, second, and third time, finally passed this 9th day of June 2025. Buddy, mover? Councilor Reynolds, Councilor Juliana, any questions on that bylaw? Hearing none, call question, all in favor? Thank you. I have a bylaw number 2106 being a bylaw to repeal or to adopt an emergency management program and emergency response plan to meet the other requirements of the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act, to be read a first, second, and third time, finally passes 9th day of June 2025. Moved by Councilor Withers, second by Councilor Reynolds. Any questions of that? Hearing none, call question, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Bylaw number 2107 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2057 being a bylaw to establish standards respecting to maintenance of land within the municipal boundaries and of the town of Marathon, read the first, second, and third time, and finally passes 9th day of June 2025. Moved by Councilor Withers, second by Councilor Reynolds. Any questions of that bylaw? Hearing none, call question, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And then bylaw number 2108 being a bylaw to amend the bylaw number 1734 to provide standards for maintenance and occupancy of the property in town of Marathon, read first, second, and third time, finally passes 9th day of June 2025. Moved by Councilor Lake, second by Councilor Reynolds. Any questions?
Just one.
Councilor Lake.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about, and it just struck me as we were going through, with the new designation for tiny homes, do they need to be, we've got residential mobile homes. We also have to put in the bylaw tiny homes because they're a different designation, or does that fall under residential?
Yeah, so what we're doing with these two bylaws, 2107 and 2108, is we're just cleaning up the zoning as they relate to property standards and land enforcement.
Yeah.
So tiny homes is not included in those. These are specific to enforcement bylaws.
Oh, okay.
So tiny homes has already been passed by council, so it will be included in the new official plan and zoning bylaw. But these are strictly related to housekeeping items for better enforcement of those bylaws.
Okay.
But under residential?
Correct.
Yes. And just for the information for the public out there, like some people get frustrated thinking we're not doing anything behind the scenes. There is a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but it's a process. It's not just go and tell, Mrs. Smith, and I hope Mrs. Smith not getting impacted by the bylaw, but Mrs. Smith or Mrs. Jones saying, clean up or move or the debris or cut your grass. And then if they refuse, there's a process. It just doesn't happen overnight. So I just wish the neighbors and understand and the people within the community that we're working on all the things that you might see, but it's just the process. This just strengthens the process up a little bit more too as well. So any other questions?
So just a comment that I've heard comments from out of town people make mention of how much our Marathon residents take pride in their curb appeal and their lawns and stuff like that. So just kudos to the residents of Marathon for our regional neighbors noticing that. So.
Well, absolutely, man. The bylaw does help. The bylaws do help in regards to property standards and that. So, but the enforcement of that is just a little bit, the process is a little bit long sometimes. You get pushback. If the resident is automatically going to go out and cut the grass, remove the derelict vehicle or pick up the debris, that's great. But if not, then you have to go through a process. So, all good, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.
As long as my truck runs, it's not derelict.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. As long as you hide behind the backyard, it see that your neighbors don't care at that point. You've got a motion here that council accepts the 24 financial statements presented by Surgery and Ozoliski. Am I pronouncing that right? Ozoliski. Anyway, that's the firm we just that does our audit statements. We just had the presentation earlier tonight. Listening to that and giving an update and overview of the municipality situation as of December 31st, 2024. Over. Councilor Lake, secondary, Councilor Juliana. Any questions on the comments on the audit statements we just experienced? Hearing none, call question all in favor. Carried, thank you. I have a motion on council hereby authorize administration to transfer the 2024 operating deficit of 136,448 from the working capital reserve fund. That was the 2024's total deficit, some unexpected things, some things didn't move within the budget that we had predicted. So that was the deficit of $136,448. Moved by Council Lake, second by Council Jones. Any questions of that? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried, thank you. I have a motion here in regards to designating the month of June, so that whereas the province of Ontario has designated the month of June as Seniors Month, a time to celebrate and recognize and enduring the impact achievements of older adults, including myself. Thank you very much. I knew you were looking at me there, Councilor Balance, yeah. Well, you was looking right at me going, oh, you're one of them senior guys and gals in our communities, and whereas seniors have played and continue to play a vital role in the building and sustaining of the economic strength and social fabric and high quality of life enjoyed across town of Marathon and beyond. And whereas older adults contribute as valued community members, offering their time, experience, leadership as volunteers, mentors, caregivers, and engaged residents. And whereas during the month of June, the town of Marathon joins communities across Ontario and reaffirming the commitment of honoring, respecting, and supporting seniors and expressing gratitude for their lifelong contributions to the community. I now therefore we resolve that I, Rick Dumas, on behalf of the town of Marathon and council, do by here proclaim June as Seniors Month in the town of Marathon. Moved by Councilor Lake, second by Councilor Giuliano. Any questions, comments on that? Hearing none. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, prior to adjournment, I do have an announcement in regards to the council going to an in-camera meeting to discuss plans for infrastructure negotiations. This is directly after this open meeting, so we will be discussing plans and instructions for negotiations in a closed meeting, in camera. With that being said, I have adjournment motion at the hour of 5:08, moved by Councilor.
We should look at certain councillors can't move this, can they?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, last meeting.
I'd love to put your name in there, but legally I can't. Councilor Lake, second by Councilor Balance. Thank you very much. Have a good night.